Ever wished for a radio station that's got it all? Welcome to Nexxlegacy Radio, your ultimate podcast haven where fresh, new content mingles with timeless classics. Whether you're a fan of today's hits or yesterday's gems, we've got something for everyone. Tune in, kick back, and let Nexxlegacy be your audio escape. Hit that subscribe button and join the Nexxlegacy family today.
Classic music and more is what we do right here on Branded After Dark. Sweet Aaron is here alongside me. I am Branded. Sweet Aaron, how you doing, dear?
I'm great. How are you?
Well, you know what? As long as you're great, I'm going to try to be just as great as you. And I think we will because of not just because of the guests, plural, that we have tonight, but also everybody else that's listening, of course, across the boards, not just in the States, but overseas, everybody out there listening online, iPhones, computers, and so on and so forth. It's a beautiful, beautiful night to be able to hang out and not only get some music game from our guests that we'll have a little later on in the show, but also some acting game. And when I say that, I'm talking about just acting 101, just the highs, the lows, the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, the whole deal. And I think the guest that we have, Aaron, that's kicking it off tonight is one where, I don't know about you, but when I looked at her resume, I was like, Lord have mercy. Like, does she ever take a day off? That's the way I see it.
You know what? You took the words right out of my mouth because I felt the same way. I was like, what?
I mean, this lady right here, I mean, not just, you know, a lot of people know her from the work that she's done on Dawn of the Dead, the Saw movies, I'm Not There, and she's active in television, voice, and on stage, and she has her extensive career, and I'm just glad to be able to be in her stratosphere to have dialogue with her, so I want to welcome Miss. I'm just saying, I mean, Kim, you know what time it is. Kim Roberts is our guest on Branded After Dark. How you doing, dear?
After an intro like that, how can I be doing anything but fantastic? Hi.
Yeah, and I mean, and Kim, I mean what I say, and I'm just saying it out loud for all the people out there listening. Like, do you? And that's gonna be the first question I ask you. Do you take days off? Do you
this
ever
is it,
take
baby.
days off?
It was today. We're sharing it.
How often is that?
So listen, that means she's not working. That means she's working still. So she ain't take a day off. She's working. She's here live on the air to talk to her fans.
This time we get to be in on it though. So
yeah, absolutely. You know, it's an amazing. It's fabulous that you're asking me that as the first question because I actually woke up this morning thinking about the fact that when you're an artist, it's you know, you choose a career path that you love. And so it kind of interweaves in your life that days off are days on or days off. When you're doing what you love, you're never really working, right? You're doing something that you would be doing anyway.
Very true.
So it just becomes a part of the fabric of your life. I actually was thinking that, you know, what I do is always a part of my life every single day. I never know what aspect of it I'll be using, but, you know, whether I'm talking to somebody about, you know, somebody on the subway who recognizes me and wants to talk a little bit about what it's like to do this, you know, or whether I'm here talking to you or I'm actually doing the work, I'm always doing it. Whether I'm just watching people, actually, which is a big part of what actors do, you know. We're just really curious about life and about people. So no matter where I am, I'm observing, I'm taking it in, I'm learning something. So, yeah, there's no
amazing.
That kind of makes me think of my first question. It's you've been, when I was looking through your resume, like you've been a nurse a lot. And I was just wondering.
You saw that, eh?
Yeah. I was just wondering, like, when you get people that recognize you, do people be like, hey, you know, I got this wrong with me, that wrong with me, like, you know what I mean? Do people really think you're somebody, your characters that you portray?
Okay, I have to tell you a funny story. I have a very dear friend who has been a very dear friend for like ever, right? Who is now with somebody, but he was married to somebody else before. And his ex-wife doesn't speak to me because she heard he was having an affair with a doctor, which is kind of why they broke up. And at the time, I had done a commercial where I played a doctor on TV. God. So she believes, I think, to this day that I am the doctor who broke up her marriage, and she gives me stink eye anytime I see her. Anytime.
Lord That's
so there are people who take it to heart. Yeah, there are people who take these things seriously.
Wow.
But for the most part, I think people are able to tell what's real and what's not. I hope.
You would hope so. I mean, but a lot of characters, a lot of people portray. It's like, especially if it evolves into something that's really, really heavy, and a lot of people were asking, like, well, how could you do this to so and so and so and so and so on and so forth? It gets crazy. Like, the fan base is crazy. So when did you always have it in you to, okay, this is what I want to do at a younger age? Mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you that question because, look, you have this extensive resume, and your acting credentials are people that have seen you in movies and television and so on. They're going to say, you know what, this woman has a ton of talent. But was this always something you wanted to do?
I think sometimes things choose you in life. Actually, I don't think, I kind of know. We all have proclivities, right? We all have things that are just natural to us. Mm-hmm. And we spend a lot of time sometimes steering ourselves away from those things because we're taught that we're supposed to do something else. I think I was just fortunate enough that there were enough there were enough angels, really, in my life from a very young age who kept pulling me into this world of the arts, into this world of theater and dance and music. At age 2, in grade 2, I was touring elementary schools with there's a group called Sharon, Lois, and Bram that's pretty big in Canada. They perform for children. And back in the day, Lois and another woman named Louise Lilienstein came to my school and chose 2 kids out of each grade, put us together in something called the Friendship Circle, and we started touring, and performing songs and dances and skits to other schools, and we were all about friendship and sharing through music. And that's how I kind of started. And then I had a cousin who used to direct me and all of my other cousins in plays on our summer vacation. So, summer would be, school would be out, and like my cousin Michelle would be putting a raisin in the sun in my hand, and that was like summer,
All right.
I was going to be Ruby. I had to learn that by the end of the summer.
Right.
So somehow it just kind of fell, and I loved it, right? I loved doing it. And I always did drama throughout school, and I actually went to university to study politics. So I was going to be a lawyer, and I studied philosophy, which I loved, and I didn't really like going to school a lot. So I needed to make up some extra credits. And in my second year, I took a theater course back in Toronto at York University, and it was taught by the chair of theater, Ron Singer. And at the end of my course, he sat me down and said he thought I could really make it in this business, and if I wanted to, he offered me a place at York. And I said, no, thanks. I have a great schedule back at Western, and I have, really great roommates, and I'm going back there. And yet somehow it worked out that the universe brought me right back to acting. I was there doing my politics, and somebody I'd been in theater with called and said, come audition for this show. I did it for the hell of it. I'm sorry, for the heck of it, really night radio, right? And I got the job, and I started acting that day and never looked back.
Wow.
Just kind of. But, I had to be willing to kind of take the opportunities that came my way because I was so hell-bent on doing something else, but it kept coming back, and it was the one thing that was easy because I enjoyed it, and so I actually pursued it, and it's been all right.
But isn't that what they say, Kim, too, as far as your passion? If it's your passion and you're doing a job that you find that you love to do, you're not necessarily working, right? So even though you were looking for jobs, quote unquote, your passion kept calling you because that's just something that you were, in a lot of ways, put on this earth to do.
I believe so. I really do. I do, Brandon.
Well, if do you feel like, have you ever been in a place where you're like, you don't differentiate between the two, so it's kind of like you step back and be like, wait a minute, I haven't had do you ever feel like you need a vacation since you love it?
Yes. Right now, online all the time. I'm like, when can I go? When I've got, family in the Caribbean hoping that I'll make it for Carnival, even just the day before, So there are times like that. And, this is really the actor's plight. I mean, usually when you're busy, we're so thrilled and blessed to be working, but you have no time really for your life because it's all consuming. And then when you're not working, you have all this time and you have no money, so you're not really trying to go anywhere or do much. So it's a real conundrum to find that balance. But yeah, this has been a busy time, and I'm really enjoying it. But I am definitely planning a vacation soon. And what I try to do is just take time out, even amidst the busyness, even if it's within a day or within a week. Take a day off just to chill out and do my own thing, or even within a day, take a few hours where my phone's off. You can't reach me, and I'm just doing whatever I need to do to come back to base,
Well, obviously,
important.
with all the stuff that you have going on, and Kim Roberts is our guest on Branded After Dark, and with some of the stuff that you just landed on Global and FX Network, you're not taking no time off no time soon, right? tell the fan base and people out there exactly what have you landed on these particular things that you're working on, and that's fresh off that Steven Spielberg ABC drama, right?
Yeah, boy, we were shooting Lucky 7 all last year. We were the first show to be canceled by ABC in the fall, so, most people know us because of that. They call us Unlucky 7 here in Toronto.
Okay.
But I don't feel that way about it. It was a great show, it really was. And we shot 8 episodes. ABC still will hopefully air them. So, I hope other people get a chance to see what a great show it actually became. It really evolved into a beautiful piece of work. And I had a lot of fun, I got to play Gloria, who's a spunky, feisty character. And she just spoke her mind, and she got to be fun and sassy and sexy. And, she was just really wonderful. So I hope you get to see that when it does air eventually, wherever it does end up. Cool. But recently I got to shoot on a beautiful show called Remedy. That is a Canadian show which premieres on the Global Network in Canada on the 24th of February, so just a couple weeks from now. And it's a hospital drama. And it's really funny and quirky and smart, and it's by the makers of King. I don't know if anybody's watched that. South of the Border. You can get it online. It's a great show. And just, Adam Barkin and Greg Spotterswell, beautiful writers and producers on this project. And I got to play this beautiful character. Her name is Auntie Priscilla from Ghana. And she is like every crotchety but lovable, but you want to strangle her, but can't keep her mouth shut.
Like we love you, but we hate you at the same time,
you know
right?
what I mean? That we all have, exactly. And I mean, I love my family, but I have a few of those myself, and so I have a lot of great inspiration to draw from in playing Auntie. So she was really a joy. I got to just really be quirky with her and have a lot of fun.
Wow.
And
wow.
Do you have to see yourself at some point in a character in order to play the character?
Well, when I spoke earlier about the fact that even when I'm not working, I'm observing life. It's because I'm always, to be an actor, a question I often get is, how do I know you're not acting right now? And I'm like, are you paying me? And I'm not acting right now. You ain't paying me? Nope. Where's the check?
There you go.
No, but for real, the good thing. But the thing about acting is it's all about truth. We're truth seekers, right? I don't seek to really judge. I seek to understand whatever is around me. And then when I have the opportunity, I get to reflect that. I get to portray that part of myself because we are all connected, right? There's nothing that anybody does that is not a part of you could understand. And maybe if you don't even consciously understand it at this point in time, life down the road one day might make you say, oh, my goodness, wow. Right? I see what that person is living.
Exactly.
So I think that whenever I play any character, I just draw on what I know. I draw on what I've seen. If it's not something personal to me, I might have a friend or a family member who's experienced it. I really just try and have as extensive a knowledge of life and people and relationships and emotions as I can. And then when I get to draw on that, that's what comes out in fleshing out a character. So it'll always come from whoever I am and whatever I've experienced or seen. But it also gets imbued with whatever a writer, wants to bring to light. That's where the technique of acting comes in, right? That's where you kind of meld the two things, who you are and what you're able to do with the craft, what you can impose upon this character. I'm doing that right now with a character.
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say I'm doing that. Well, the other project that we were talking about, I'm working on The Strain, Guillermo del Toro's book that is now being adapted into a television series for the FX Network.
Very good.
and I'm playing Neva, a Haitian housekeeper. Now, I'm not Haitian, but my family is Creole. My mom comes from Dominica, and so I'm kind of, drawing on all the Dominican patois that I've heard growing up and all of that culture and kind of my Haitian friends. And, I'm calling them saying, how do you say this? And am I saying this right? And how's the accent sounding?
Right.
And so it's like the stuff that's real for me is great, but the stuff that I'm not familiar with, then I have to draw on my circle and really pull together for this character of Neva, who is a really iconic and great character in this story.
Wow.
So that's what
Very cool. And Kim Roberts is our guest on Branded After Dark, and you can also hit her up on Twitter, which is Kim Roberts, the number 1, and also Facebook.com/Kim Roberts page. And just listening to you talk and hearing all these roles that you've taken on, not just throughout your career, but right now that's coming up. And, I'm instantly and always thinking about just, especially with established actors and actresses and everything that you guys have done and continue to do, how do you guys feel about just television series, the reality shows, and just the portrayal of what TV is today versus how it used to be 20, 25, 30 years ago?
Wow, that's a good question,
It was mine, too.
Hey, I have to. Hey, I take questions from you all the time, Aaron. You know this.
Yeah.
You guys are right there.
Think alike.
There you go.
No, that's a really good question, man. It's so funny because like a show that like Lucky 7 that we just attempted to really bring to fruition with ABC, the writers wanted to do that. They wanted to harken back to the days of like Taxi and like really far back, right? The drama shows that were situated in a place where everybody, families could watch, and there were all these interesting characters, and yet it didn't get a chance to breathe, right? It didn't get a chance to really live and find its audience. So I feel like we're living in a much more fast-paced world of television where people want to be instantly hooked, instantly entertained. And I mean, I'm the same, right? I'll give a show one shot. And if I find it exciting and interesting and smart, I'll keep watching. And I want it to be that every single week. So I feel like our standards as an audience are really, really high, which I think is great for the medium. I think it means that only great work gets to really keep going. And so you have to always be raising the bar on what you're doing and always make sure that you're at the top of your game with the work that you're putting out. But it is unfortunate in that sometimes shows that do really have that staying power aren't given the chance to really kind of breathe and open up so that they can draw you in, because sometimes storytelling is like that. It doesn't start off with a bang. It starts off kind of with a whisper, but then it grows and grows, and you're hooked.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know that one is better or worse or whatever. It's just kind of a sign of the times. It's a very quick society. Everything is very fast.
It is, and that was my thing, Kim, because, I look at maybe, you could take a handful of first-season situation comedies from any decade for the most part, and usually that first season is always like a test, or, there was always spin-offs, and then that first season, you would hold your breath, and you would hope that that season would be as successful. And some of the ones that wound up being very, very successful had shaky first seasons and got stronger as that second, third, fourth, fifth season progressed. And I don't know. I mean, I'm like you. I mean, I would love to see something that'll catch my eye, but also especially in this industry, especially acting and what it means to a lot of other people out there. I would love to see development in certain projects and certain television shows and things like that too.
Absolutely, especially when you're doing something that's never been seen before, right?
Exactly.
When you're putting on a show that is not the norm or that hasn't been seen in a long time or it's something brand new, you have to give people a minute to kind of get used to something different and see if they like it, right? You can't just...
Right.
That's
say,
true.
No,
That's right.
We're going to run. Yeah, so... I mean, some shows really took their time. Look at Breaking Bad and The Wire. I mean, it took me forever to get into The Wire. It took me up until, and I mean, I watched the whole thing in 2 minutes, right? I could not stop. I was like unwashed. Right. I was like, I have to watch The Wire. Right. Not sleeping. It was that good, right? But, for like 2 years, I kept trying to get past episode 5, right? Like that with Breaking Bad right now, so.
Do you feel like all the reality television, though, is taking away from, the real, true, artists and actors and actresses that have honed their skills?
Maybe. But I think that just means that the real true actors and actresses who have skills, we need to adapt and create something new, create something better. Like I always say, vaudeville is not around anymore. Silent pictures are not around. There's always going to be an evolution. That's what life is. That's what art is. And if people want to watch reality television, then they want to watch it. Maybe we need to start scripting. Well, it's already scripted anyway, but, now we maybe need to start making movies about reality television. I don't know. I have no idea. Or maybe there's a whole new branch of artistry that's awaiting professional actors and artists and musicians to create, There's a world of possibility.
I've said this before, Kim. Kim, I said this before about reality. Technically, they're not, to me, I always feel like the documentaries and some of the true-to-life activities and things that's shown on TV, that's reality. It's real-life based. But you have, them other ones, and those other ones, I'm not even going to mention names. That's how I don't feel that they're reality shows. I always tell every person that I've talked to, actors or whatnot, that they need to remove and take that reality stigma, that tag away, and just call it what it is, which is improv, because the directors are really the one that's feeding them lines and information, and it's really improv when you think about it. And I think if you take that name, that reality show name, and call it something else, people are not going to watch it anymore. I guarantee you.
True enough. I mean, it's all, you're right. It does, I think, go the way they want it to go. But the thing is, people there's something about society that wants to look in on everybody else, right? The more independent and isolated we get, because, once you got your iPad and your smartphone and your laptop, you're good. You don't need anybody.
Right.
We get more isolationist, then you want to know what other people are doing because we're not interacting. So hence reality television becomes so much more important to society because it's kind of saying, well, this is what they're doing over there in Atlanta. This is what they're doing over there.
Right. That's right.
And whether it's true or not, it makes people feel like they're a part of something else. So I don't know. I don't know what it says about our society.
And let's keep it real too, Kim. It's cost efficient. It's cheap. It's cheap to do shows like that. Versus, paying an actor or an actress, maybe $30,000 an episode or something like that. It's the sign of the times in a lot of ways.
It is, but no matter what, I mean, you get tired of it. I think after a while. I think no matter how much reality television you watch, you can't wait till that next really good movie comes out. You're going to go and pay that money to see it. Or if there's a really hot series on television, you're going to make sure you're watching it. So I think it just challenges artists to be really good, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
And Kim Roberts is our guest on Branded After Dark. And a couple of more quick questions before we let you go. Aaron, go ahead and take the next one after this one. My question is, when you take a look at just the industry in itself, and you have so many aspiring actors who really want to get into, maybe they want to be the next Kim Roberts, and they're trying to find their niche or their way. They're trying to find the right agent. They're trying to do something that'll make their craft grow. But getting discouraged because they're getting turned down every which way due to whatever. It can be their skills. It can be anything else. What do you say to these young people out there, or even some of the, the older ones that's trying to find their way into movies or television or whatnot? What kind of advice can you give them?
Okay, there are a few things. I'll start with the hard truth. Because this is a business of being brutally honest. It's like, you watch so you think you can dance and you think those judges are really harsh. That's what it is to be an artist. That's what you want. It's pure honesty, right? So to start with, you have to be brutally honest with yourself. You have to decide whether you have talent. Whether, you might have been doing this for 3-4 years and not getting anywhere. So is that because you're doing things wrong, or is that because it's not for you? So sometimes we want to be an actor or we want to be whatever, for celebrity or for we think money. Trust me, don't be an actor because you want to be rich. Yeah, I mean, there are other things. Yep. But, we make sure that your motivation is pure. Make sure that you've got a passion in your soul for this thing, this art, and that you would do it anyway. You would do it for free. Right. Then continue, right? So check that off your list. And if you really feel that strongly about it, then you need to commit. You need to commit to whatever area is not working. So if you have an agent, you need to speak to your agent and try and get feedback as to why you're not booking. You know, do casting agents really like you, and you just haven't fit yet, or is there something you're doing in the room that you can improve on? You know, they'll be happy to share this information with you. So, you know, get a dialogue going with your agent and make sure those lines of communication are open, and then work on those things. You know, maybe take classes. I mean, not maybe, definitely take classes. If you're not working, you should always be using your instrument. So you should be taking classes, and if you can't afford classes, get some other actors together and do, you know, once a week come in with scenes prepared and do scene study together and work with each other and try and invite friends who are directors or other actors in to kind of, you know, give you feedback and just create that collaboration that goes on. And that happens in Toronto. There's a group every Monday night that meets with professional actors, and they work on stuff. You know, it's wonderful. You keep yourself wet.
Wow.
So these are all the things you can do to make sure you're ready to go when the right role comes along. And besides that, just keep doing it. Have faith. Sorry, yes, Erin.
No,
pray.
I was just
pray.
I know that's
pray.
right.
Oh, pray.
Pray. I was wondering,
but you know, I just want to finish up with that it really comes down to being comfortable with yourself. That's all this business really is. You know, a lot of people, I've worked with people who, you know, are acting, and it's not, you're never acting when you're doing this work. It's really about truth. So the more honest you can be in portraying the character you're portraying, the more you can just be that person as opposed to trying to put on that person, the better your work will be. You know, and good teachers will help you find that, will help you find your level of relaxation and teach you how to read a script so that you're interpreting it and bringing it forth correctly. And, yeah, that's the work you're here to do.
Amen.
I was just, I'm curious to know if there has ever been or if there would ever be a role that you would turn down, be it, you know, do you have any limits to what you would or wouldn't do with this portray?
That's interesting. I don't think I have anything that I would say no to. Really, I mean, it would have to be a role that just really, really just felt bad somehow, and I don't even know what it would be to make that bad. But no, to this point in my career, I've never encountered a role that I didn't feel comfortable performing. I mean, there are things that, you know, I've seen other actors decide they weren't going to do roles because certain things were desired by producers, maybe at the last minute that hadn't been discussed before. Things like that do happen. But in general, in terms of, you know, would I find a role to something not to play? No. I think that's the whole thing about being an actor. You're about finding truth in everything. You know, whether and having us look at each other and ourselves as a society, as humanity. You know, the good and the bad, the pretty and the ugly, all parts of it. You know. It's like when Halle Berry took so much flack for her role, right? With Billy Bob Thornton. I thought that's so
Billy
crazy.
Bob, Monster Ball.
I'm like, you know, we're like, she's an actor. That's what she's doing her job. You know, that's why we like her. You know, so you know, people get very personal about this stuff, but really, you're the everyman. That's what we are. We're the every person.
Was there in closing? Was there a specific, let's just say, situation comedy from any decade of television as far as a character that you would always say he or she has played that role to a T? It will withstand the test of time based on her acting, his or her acting skills. Is there anybody out there that you could say off the top of your head that earned that legendary status based on their role that they played?
Oh, my gosh. You know, I'm the wrong person to ask that question. There are so many actors. There's so many, and I'm the worst. I remember nothing. I don't. You know how people quote movies? And I'm like, how do you? I don't even remember the lines I said. I'm like,
wow.
I said that. What movie was that? So I am sure there are many, and as soon as we get off the phone, I'll be like, oh, of course, right? But of course, right now,
you're gonna text me. You're gonna text me or tweet it to me or something like that. Hey, I remember this person. You know, that's part of a conversation that we're gonna have tonight as well. And you know, I always used to say like Lucille Ball would always her portrayal and what she did with Lucy, that character. You know, you love to hate that character. Like, sometimes you just, it drives me crazy. Like, you know, why? Like, oh my God. But she played that role and she owned it.
They draw you completely in. Right. They draw you completely in.
That's true. That's true. I think that just every actor out there doing it right now is doing that, you know? I mean, I want to say everybody on The Wire. I want to say Idris Elba. I want to say, Kerry Washington. I mean, just everybody. If you're doing it well, you're pulling people in. You know, Esther Roll.
Very true. Very true. That's
you
right.
know, I mean,
yes, absolutely.
Yep.
And Clint Eastwood, though, I think is actually the artist that I most admire, that I feel in terms of his artistry. He's got a sensitivity to his work that I just so admire. I would love to work with him. I mean, I think he's really the pinnacle in this industry. You know, he gets it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? I would love to hang. I would love to hang out with you a lot more. And also, you know, can I? You know, occasionally, I'm not going to do it and flood your Twitter line, but can I come hang out with, you know, with Kim Roberts on Twitter at Kim Roberts #1 from time to time, and just
please,
you know, send you some tweets of love and encouragement and all that good stuff, and let you know that, you know, being a fan of your work is definitely you know, I just feel like I need to do something else for you. Like, if I could wash your car, I'll do that. Or if I could do, you know, whatever I could do. I'm like, you know, I just feel like I need to do something else other than radio. Like,
for nobody, girl.
I'm just saying.
Just keep sending the love and positive vibes, babes. That's it. I'll feel it. I'll get it. I will use it.
Well, I'm gonna go, and I suggest everybody out there listening, go to Kim's Twitter at Kim Roberts #1 on Twitter, and also hit her up on Facebook, facebook.com/Kim Roberts page. Kim, you know, it's always been fun, dear, and please don't be a stranger. I'm looking forward to your FX The Strain that's airing this summer. I'm just looking forward to any and everything you do, because I know you're still working 24/7.
Oh,
yes.
24/7.
Thank you so much.
And before we let you go, I know you're a big Howard Hewitt fan, and I know he's supposed to be calling in a little bit later on in the show. So what do you want to say to Mr. Howard Hewitt if he's listening right now?
Tell him that this is for the lover in you. This ring means I'll always be true. Yeah, boy, I am the biggest Shalimar fan. I mean, what from back in the day, I remember being a youngster in New York City and turning on the radio, and y'all had the good music in America, not like what we grew up here in Canada. So, you know, it was like good music. And Shalimar was 24/7, and I just fell in love right back then. So you tell Mr. Hewitt to hit me up on Twitter whenever he wants. And, yeah, thank you for making my life beautiful.
Thank you for making my night for you singing right now. Like those 5-6 seconds or whatever. Right. Woo! Woo!
I love your energy.
Getting hot in here, like.
And I love your spirit. I really do. And I love your work, and, you know, keep doing what you're doing, because, you know, it's positive, and, you know, you are an inspiration to people.
Thank you so much, and so are you both. Keep doing what you're doing, man. This is beautiful, your show.
I love all that she said, too, but it's getting hot in here. That voice, Lord have mercy.
I know. You might have to call back and do a duet with him on his interview.
I don't sing. She can sing. Kim, you can sing to me anytime you want to, honey. I can't sing, but you know what? You can sing to me anytime you want to, honey. You can.
I will happily.
You can listen real good.
You guys invite me back. I'll do a duet with you. I'll do a duet with Howard. I'll do whatever you like. It'd be fun.
Hey, can I be first in line, though? I know Howard Hewitt is Howard Hewitt, but can I be first, please? I'll be first, right?
You are first already.
Thank you, sweetheart. See, that's love right there from Kim Roberts. I love you to death, girl. Go ahead.
Oh, I love you guys too, man.
All right, we'll be in touch. Kim, blessings to you. Keep doing what you're doing. You are inspirational to everyone, me included, and I know Aaron as well, and all the listeners. So we love you. We definitely do.
I love you too.
Sweetheart.
Thank you both. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Joe. All right. Bye-bye.
This is why you need Nexxlegacy in your life. Ready to build your legacy? Welcome to Nexxlegacy Radio, the #1 station for the people. Here we empower aspiring artists and businesses with the best hip-hop and R&B, mixed with motivational content for your personal growth. Subscribe now and join our community. Don't forget to share the love, spread the word about Nexxlegacy.